So Baked Alaska just made a new channel. I'll link it in the description below because his recent appeal that he got didn't go through. And, this is pretty much what a lot of people have to do, right? They have to make multiple accounts on YouTube. They need to make accounts on BitChute, Minds, Gabs, Steemit, whatever you can fucking think of. Because you know, like the new algorithms for Twitter, the new rules for YouTube are going to, eventually censor everybody. And even if you don't like Baked Alaska and stuff, you should probably at least go support it, go sub, because, once these people are gone, it will move over to you. And, freedom of speech, these types of things are for things that we disagree with. So once we stop, standing up for people and supporting people who are actively getting censored all the time, like Baked Alaska, like I don't agree with a lot of what he says and shit, but uh, you know, we need to support him, right? We need to do it because eventually, when it does become you and you get censored, nobody's going to come to help you. Because what is happening right now is people, when I see Baked Alaska, whatever gets censored, this and that, they laugh, right? They don't say anything. They're like, ooh, this is funny, he. Blood sports, ha ha ha. They get censored, he. But like, these guys are gonna get censored themselves sooner or later. And do you think anybody is gonna come to your support when you just laughed at them for being censored and stuff, and actively pretty much help promote it, try reporting them, doxing them? No, of course not. We know through history that these things do get out of control, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't just stop with censoring one person. Soon your views will be under attack because it's pretty much anybody with common sense is going to be censored in the future. Anybody, you tell a liberal there's only such thing as two genders, you're going to get banned on Twitter, right? I got banned on Twitter. I've been banned for a week because I called some libertarian. I said that left-wing libertarians are friggin' retarded. Then I got banned for a week because of harassing people with disabilities or some shit. So it's like, you gotta watch what you say around these people. You can't say anything, otherwise they're gonna report you. So the only thing really to do now is to, create alternative platforms, things that people can go on, because these things have become way too sanitized. YouTube, Twitter, you can't say you can't do fucking anything, right? Like, I had my whole David Hogg video deleted, and the funny thing about that, though, is that that video would have only gotten maybe a few hundred views, but they deleted it, and then I made a video talking about how they deleted it, right? And then that one got like 6,000 views. So the Streisand effect, it does work, like, it's kind of good that they do try to censor people in some extent right now, because people hear about it and they pass the message around. Like I said, I got 6,000 views and I gained more than like 100 subs because they gave me a community guideline strike and they censored me. So this is what happens. And I'm probably going to make a channel, maybe another one myself, so then I could do streams or whatever in case I get another community guideline strike, because I can't do streams for the next 2 months at least or more, because of the one I got before and the appeal did not go through. So yeah, we either gotta start doing stuff on Streamlabs, start doing live on Gab. Maybe I'll check that out, see if that's any good. Live somewhere else, because Twitter is going to crack down eventually. I mean, YouTube is going to get more and more censorship oriented. And, like you see, like Sinatra Says, you see all these other people getting banned left, right, and center. And there was that whole purge that happened a little while ago where they, I think, went a little bit too quick. They tried to get rid of people too quickly and it backfired. But, there are still plenty of people who were smaller creators who got banned and who nobody is coming to support. Nobody is talking about. They only talk about the bigger creators, right, when they get banned. But people like me, right, people like that are a little bit smaller and maybe a little bit bigger, nobody hears about that. Nobody hears about that. And a lot of the bigger YouTubers don't say anything necessarily about that either, because why would they? They want to close the door behind them once they get to the top. That's what a lot of people think. They get to positions, and once they get to that position, they don't want anybody else. They want more competition. And I've heard this coming from some YouTubers on with more subscribers. They're like, oh, don't even get into it. It's saturated. The market is saturated. And they just say that because they do not want competitors. They do not want people coming in and taking views from their videos and then watching your stuff instead. Because there is a finite amount of time in a day, right? And the same thing is the media. This is why they want to censor social media, because their eyeballs are watching that instead of their shit. And eventually it's going to be the same with people in YouTube. They're going to be like, oh, I want the views, let's close the door behind us. And this is what people do. This is why, oftentimes, the government, they'll be like a corporation, and then they'll get on top using the free market. And then once they do, they'll go to the government. They'll be like, okay, now we need regulations. Now we need all these stop gaps. And what they're doing is they're just making it harder for other people to come up behind them and take over, right? They're closing the door behind them. So, it's, if some of these YouTubers that were bigger would start to speak up a little bit more, because I know there's still plenty that do, like Sticks and Computing Forever, etc., etc. They do speak up about it, but there are plenty who do not. And eventually, that's going to bite them in the ass, because the people who only have like 100,000 subs or a little bit less and that, who aren't saying anything, they think they're safe, but they're not. You don't make them enough money, and they will cut you loose. And they are already getting like tons and tons of money from the advertisers and all this shit, as opposed to you, right? Like they're not getting their money necessarily from us, so they're not going to listen to us. So the best thing we can do is to go to other platforms as well, and to create multiple accounts on YouTube as well, just in case you get banned, because it is still something to reach a lot of people. And I don't recommend just going off of YouTube completely and only using these other alternative sites, because you still need to spread word about them on YouTube. You still need to, YouTube is still, and Twitter and all this stuff is still interacting with tons and tons and tons of people. So, it's still necessary to use these things. So, you got to be careful as well. I got banned from Twitter for a week because of, I called some guy retarded. So when it comes to leftists, it's better to not even talk to them. Or if you do, don't say anything like dumb, stupid, anything like that, because they will report you. So, it's best to kind of avoid them, because they will just, fuck you over as soon as you say two fucking words to them. Like, there was this one girl, Christy Johnston, or I forget her name. I'll try to put a link in the description, but she got banned for a week because she called these people stupid and dumb because they called her a Nazi. She's like, no, you're stupid, you're dumb. And they got banned. So, eventually this is going to destroy these platforms. It's just a matter of time. You can't have platform that is that sanitized and not have people eventually just reject it and be like, fuck this. The next generation, they'll be on there, they'll say something like that, they'll be like, what, I can't even say this guy's dumb? Like, no, fuck this shit. and they're going to leave. They're going to go to other shit. And I do see more liberals and stuff on Gab. Primarily, there are people there just to argue with people and stuff, but that's how it starts. People, the echo chambers that are being created are just not interesting. It's not interesting to be in an echo chamber. It's more interesting to see things that are a little bit taboo, to speak about things that are taboo, right? It's, nobody, this is why YouTube flourished to begin with. And this is why a lot of these things flourished to begin with, because there was things that were not in the mainstream on YouTube. So, once it becomes mainstream, once it goes that direction, it's gonna turn to shit. And people are gonna find other options, because we cannot go back to the way that we did things before. We're never gonna go back to just sitting down and watching TV and watching the news fed to us like it used to be. That's never going to happen. It's going to change. And if Twitter and YouTube don't change with it, they're going to be left behind. They seem powerful right now, all powerful, but eventually they will lose it. And a lot of the reasons they are still in power is because of governments enabling them to be in power, giving them, subsidies, contracts with the government to give over information. Like, of course they're working together. Like, think about how much information the government has access to because of companies like Twitter and YouTube and all this shit. They have this. They can look through all of your data. They're giving it to the government willy-nilly, and then obviously they're getting benefits of some kind in return. So this is why I'm, always for smaller governments, because there wouldn't be this problem right now. If the government didn't have so much control, so much power, they wouldn't be able to influence these companies, and these companies wouldn't be able to influence the government, in return as well. And, they scratch each other on the back and screw everybody in the process, because really these companies are just being used to censor people through the government. The government's not allowed to censor you, but if these companies have a monopoly, which has been created with the government, the government helped create these monopolies, and then they start censoring everybody. It is essentially the government doing it through these companies to you. So, it's a bunch of bullshit, smoke and mirrors. They're trying to make it seem like, really we're being controlled by the European Union and their laws and their rules and their oppressive ideology and their oppressive beliefs are being imposed on Twitter, and then Twitter's applying that to everybody, right? So it's fucking bullshit. But, this is why maybe there should be some sort of law where they cannot censor people, because then that would force Twitter to choose between America or the European market, and it would probably choose the American market because they'd make more money, the freer market. And over time, that would force the Europeans to ease up on their censorship, because they're going to want Twitter in their country too. The people will riot. They'll be like, we want Twitter in here. How could you censor it? Take it all away. They'll be mad. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day. See ya.